What to do, homies? We are here with some high boy. This time he is explaining Jumper. And of course, buying it, that's how they call themselves. I actually really like this movie. And it's been a minute since I've seen it. I thought it was a pretty cool concept. I mean, I understand teleporting, but the way that they told it, even if it was cheesy, even if the acting was bad, it was just one of those movies that I did not feel bad enjoying. So I'm very interested in seeing how he is going to explain it. Let's go ahead and shut up and turn it up.
Welcome to Jumper. It starts with a dude narrating about all the places he's been just today while chilling on top of the Sphinx's head, looking out onto the desert, which would be fine if there was a desert there, except pretty much the whole internet has seen this picture of the pyramids with the city right next to it. Apparently, you can casually drive by them. Anyway, the Sphinx is right there, making this shot catastrophically incorrect. Whatever, he keeps narrating and we flash back to when he was a teenager in school, giving...
That's dangerous. That's a dangerous thing to do, trying to introduce some logic into these type of movies, man, because then what's going to happen is that you're going to end up, losing the magic that, sometimes ignorance is bliss when it comes to enjoying really bad movies. I do like that YouTuber, what is his name? Critical Drinker, right? He does a great job at pointing out flaws, but sometimes if it's a movie that I want to see, I have to wait before I watch stuff because he's going to point out something to me and I'm going to be like, oh man, I wanted to be ignorant about it. You know what I mean? Let me experience the magic first.
His childhood longtime friend and
Magic.
now crush, a snow globe with the Eiffel Tower in it as a gift. Then this bitch ass kid comes over, takes it, and bullies David, that's his name, making fun of him, calling him fat or some shit, I don't know. Millie the
Wait. What was his name?
Then this bitch ass kid comes over, takes it, and bullies David, that's his name.
Oh no. That's right. That was his name. My name's David. I did not get bullied in high school. Quite the opposite, actually. Cold on the sax.
Making fun of him, calling him fat or some shit, I don't know. Millie, the girl, puts into this and tells him to hand the thing back. He reaches out to give the snow globe back to David, and she's fine with that, which infuriates me because it's been gifted to you. It is your property now, moron. Why are you okay with him giving it back to David? You take it. Whatever. Asshole bully lets David come close and throws it over a frozen lake next to their school, so David very cautiously goes out to get it, although it's very dangerous. He finally gets it, then the ice breaks and he falls through. The currents sweep him under the ice, trapping him underwater. Everybody freaks out, especially Millie. Then all of a sudden he teleports to the local library, marking the first time he ever jumped to a different location. Hence the movie's name. He walks out super kerfuddled and confused, gets home to his abusive single father. His mom left him when he was 5, so he's currently having a pretty shitty childhood. He locks himself in his room. His dad busts in and he jumps away on accident back to the same spot in the library. Wanders around a bit, then jumps back to his empty room because his dad called the cops and is now talking to them about his son being missing and shit. David gets some of his savings and escapes the house, throws some rocks at Millie's window to get her attention and leaves her the snow globe without showing himself, then takes a bus over to New York, rents his cheap room and starts practicing and learning how to control his powers in a very public Central Park. What a dumbass. Anyway, here's how his powers work as far as I can tell. He can jump anywhere.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, I know he's speaking really fast, but he's doing a very excellent job at summing this up. I've seen this movie some 11 times, and if I needed a nice little summary of the intro to get like straight to the action part without having to worry about, the origin story of how he is, who he came to be, right here. What was that? That was a minute. Beautiful.
Control his powers in a very public Central Park. What a dumbass. Anyway, here's how his powers work as far as I can tell. He can jump anywhere he knows or has been or has seen a picture of. And the more emotional the jump, the more feelings he uses while jumping or whatever. The more powerful the jump, the more effective it is, the more destructive it is to his surroundings, even cracks in the walls and craters and shit. Next thing on his list to do is breaking into a bank vault and stealing everything in there. After he scoped it.
So the interesting thing about this is, and when he said that it is, the more distance he has to jump, the most powerful it is, the more cracks it leaves. I'm sitting there thinking, well, the first time, right? But as he continues to keep doing it, doesn't it get lesser and lesser? Because I'm just sitting there thinking about when they were jumping back and forth between that little sand hole that old boy was in. It kind of looks smooth.
Surroundings, even cracks in the walls and craters and shit. Next thing on his list to do is breaking into a bank vault and stealing everything in there. After he scoped it out that morning by using the customer bathroom, he robs that place blind, gets filthy rich, and we cut to Samuel Blackson playing Roland, going to investigate the bank robbery, disguised as the NSA, which as we all know stands for nincompoop shithead assholes. Then, skip to 8 years later, David's still living in New York in a penthouse, ultra luxury, lazy life. Dude can't even be bothered to reach for a remote. He has a shit ton of money on every currency, and on this particular day, he jumps over to England to pick up a chick, very recklessly and irresponsibly using his powers in public, which fucking scuffed up. Big jaw Tom Holland sees. He bags this bird, then zoinks some zooters with her fucking scuffed up. Big jaw Tom Holland sees. He bags this bird, then zoinks some zooters with her. No one's ever said that before. Then he jumps over to Fiji to surf some mega waves, then jumps over to the Sphinx's head again to chill out a bit. How's this not attracting any attention? I'm pretty sure you're not allowed up here. Also, isn't this a part of the city right here? So wait a minute, the makers of this movie knew full well that the city was that nearby, yet they still made this horribly inaccurate opening shot? How? Are they stupid? They're stupid. Moving on. We cut to a jungle somewhere with Roland having incapacitated a jumper, calling him an abomination, saying only God should have the power to be at all places at all times. I mean, technically they're not. They're just in a bunch of places really fast, but I get what you're talking about. He kills this guy, then gets a phone call telling him that they finally found the bank robber from 8 years ago. So when David jumps back to his apartment after doing a bunch of other shit, I assume, he finds Roland in and he's like, who the hell are you and how are you in my apartment? Roly-poly introduces himself and goes on to tell him how bad he is at this, literally leaving notes everywhere and shit. Finally reveals that he knows who he is, and what he can do. Then pokes him with an electric baton that stops him from jumping because apparently electricity running through a jumper's body makes it really hard for them to teleport anywhere. Which David finds out when he jumps a short distance to
Hold on. This scene right here.
because apparently electricity running through a jumper's
How he telegraphed where he was going to be. I'm going to call that BS right here. I mean, I get that he has some experience. I'm guessing whenever they're tased on the floor, they immediately just jump up the top. I mean, it's a cool scene and everything, but ain't no way.
His body makes it really hard for them to teleport anywhere. Which David finds out when he jumps a short distance to his wall to pick a picture to jump to from one of his jump sites. But he can't do it because it's too far for him to do in his electrocuted state right now. I think he picked Moscow or something. Pretty sure that fucking Rain Man geoguesser dude can guess where this is.
Has the girl ever talked to you?
No, this is Bolivia. Nice. Norway. Nice.
Roland gets him, keeps beating him and shocking him, asking him how he survived this long. Like, who is protecting you? David is then able to jump into the secret vault in his wall, collects some cash, then gathers enough energy to jump back to his childhood bedroom that is chained shut from the outside for some reason. He stashed some more shit there that he's collecting right now. His dad heard him come, so he tries to talk to him through the crack in the door and tries to open the door but can't do it in time before David teleports away. He goes over to find a grown-up Millie who stayed in their hometown and is now working as a bartender. He just wanted to see her one last time before disappearing forever, but then his old bully recognizes him, tries to talk to him for a bit. Then Millie recognizes him and comes over to talk to him, but then gets harassed by the cockwomble, so David fights him to defend her and uses a brief moment away from the crowd to jump him into the first bank he robbed from, spook him and leave him there. He comes back, tells Millie that the bully ran away like a bitch. She's like, you're bleeding, let me take care of that while we catch up and start a romance. So they go back to the bar and do that. She tells him that she gave up on her dreams of traveling the world. He tells her that he's in banking. Edgar from Snowpiercer somehow tracked him down and watches this dumbass talk with great concern. Also, this extra keeps looking at the camera way too much. Then David invites her to go to Rome with him, which he knows is a top travel destination.
You know what? I've seen that in some TV shows, especially with kids, that they just can't help but look at the camera. They want to make sure they're felt as that extra piece. They said, please hire me as an additional role. Just notice me. And honestly, guys, it worked, right? Right? Highboy noticed it. So who knows? Maybe just random extras in playing a lead role somewhere.
Keeps looking at the camera way too much. Then David invites her to go to Rome with him, which he knows is a top travel destination of hers. She says yes, so they go using a plane, not a jump. They get to their hotel and he takes us back from this super aggressive bellhop. Then we cut to Roland pretending to be part of the CIA, which stands for in America. He's pretending to be an agent so he can talk to Mark, the bully who the police found in the bank vault, so now he's in prison. Mark tells him everything that happened. Roland also snooped around David's apartment, going through all his jump site location pictures. Also finds pictures of Millie, figures out that she's of importance. Then also finds out that she just flew to Italy with him, so he sends some people over there to get him. Now back in Rome, they get settled into their room. She's very skeptical of him, saying things like, so you say you're a guy in finance, trust fund, 6'5", blue eyes. I don't believe that you're in banking, but listen, I don't care, just don't lie to me. So he like, don't worry bibs, I know lie. She like, good, now let's fuck. And coitus takes place. Then after they eat, he takes Millie Bobby Brown to the long Coliseum that just closed down for tourist entry. So he dips for a second, jumps inside and unlocks the door from the other side so they can sneak in and get their own private tour. He does another stealth jump behind another door to open it from the other side so they can go down deeper into the gladiator pit area. I kind of feel like he shouldn't be able to open all these doors from the other side unless he has super duper lockpicking lawyer abilities. Or maybe a very silent and small pair of bolt cutters in that bag. Pretty sure he doesn't have either, and this is bullshit, but anyway. They see one final door betwixt them and the gladiator pit.
I mean,
so he tells
I wouldn't put it past him for, because he's been jumping for a long time. So I wouldn't put it past him if he found some type of mechanism that allows him to unlock doors, but it's like super small or something. On some 007 gadget type stuff, right? Where Q at?
Cutters in that bag. Pretty sure he doesn't have either, and this is bullshit, but anyway. They see one final door betwixt them and the gladiator pit, so he tells her to wait here while he goes around and finds another way to open the door from the other end, jumps into the pit using his powers and finds Griffin, the scruffy Brit, taking a leak in a corner somewhere and finally introducing himself to him, jumping around, saying you thought you were the only one. Tells him that he can't just do whatever he wants, jumping everywhere without consequences, without them noticing, pointing towards a couple dudes walking in. David jumps to some high ground, leaving Griffin to fight these two dudes with electrical launching thingamabobs on his own. They hit David with it, so he can't jump anywhere. Griffin's like, welcome to the wall, mate. Hops around, teleporting all over the place, fighting their two assailants. David keeps getting zapped. Griffin jumps the dudes into walls and off high places. Millie hears all this but don't understand nothing. Griffin deals with the two dudes and tells David that they're called paladins and they...
Yeah, but here's the thing about this, man. I understand they got the technology and everything, but what I don't understand is how these jumpers are getting caught. Like, outside of the element of surprise that they're doing right now, they literally could jump anywhere. I know they have to jump sites or something. I like what he did, went remote and everything, but I'm just sitting there like, if I even sense something, bro, I'm jumping, right? And I would discard any of those places that I've been. I mean, it's a big world, right? They can't be it. He says only God should have the ability to be at all places, which means you definitely ain't about to try to be at all places. Otherwise, you're a hypocrite. So come on now. You know what I'm saying? Like something like this, somebody attacking me and everything. I'm about to go look up some tour guides or something like that and just look at the picture and be like, I'm going there. I ain't never been there. You ain't gonna find me. And I might sit up. I don't know. Am I the only one that just feel this way? Like there's just no way these paladins should have ever had a shot at catching these jumpers.
They want to kill all jumpers. Millie hears all this but don't understand nothing. Griffin deals with the two dudes and tells David that they're called paladins and they want to kill all jumpers and he's fighting back. Then a Coliseum worker sees them and rushes out to report them to the cops. Griffin takes this knocked out paladin and jumps him away, so David follows him through his jump scar, which is like a fading trace of where you jump to, and ends up jumping to Griffin's secret lair, who tells him to fuck off and go back to his girlfriend, so he remembers her and goes back. Tells her that they need to leave immediately. She's hyper confused and is asking what's happened. He doesn't tell her anything. They get outside and find the cops waiting for him, trying to arrest him. She gets even more confused. They take him over to the police station to interrogate him. David keeps acting stupid, like I'm innocent, I don't know what you're talking about. The cop asking him questions gets called away. Then David's mom walks in, giving him the keys to his cuffs, telling him he has 30 seconds before they come in for him, and that he should ditch the girl because if she stays with him, she'll die. She leaves the room.
That sounds like me during my intros, right? I keep messing up my intros. Like I'll be like, "What it do, homies? It's your boy, boy Dave," and I'll say I either mispronounce the name, mispronounce the title. I actually did it like 3 times on this one. Of course, I'm gonna edit it out if I remember. I'll be tired when I be editing my videos. 100% it be happening. He just let this in. I like that.
Super confused one now, and also very surprised while he tries to follow her but runs into the cop that's interrogating him, so he jumps him over to the Sphinx and comes back for Millie, telling her that the cops let him go on the condition that he leaves the country immediately. She still has many questions that David refuses to answer, but regardless they rush into a cab. The next morning he takes her to the airport, still refusing to answer any of her questions, and he sends her off telling her that he cannot get on the plane with her, so she goes off real sad on her own. By the way, just a random thought, are jumpers never afraid of getting drunk and accidentally jumping to the moon? If I was a jumper, that'd be a legitimate concern of mine. Anyway, Roland gets news that David got away, so he goes over to his dad's house pretending to be the IRS, which stands for Inbred Retard Satanists, and he asks his dad a bunch of questions about his son. However, Yondu isn't that helpful, so he kills him. Now back to David, he jumps back to Griffin's lair to get some more info about these paladins. They're basically a group of
additionally, if he could jump to any place by just looking at it, he has to actually go there. I can't remember. If he could just jump to any place by looking at it, right? What if it changed? But I guess it doesn't matter, right? Because the way his powers is, he'll go to it based off what his state was and not what it actually is.
religious nut jobs who hate that jumpers can do whatever they want. So they've been hunting them down since the beginning of time and will kill anyone who gets in their way. Friends, family, pets, their mailman, no one is safe. So David jumps back to his dad's house and finds his lifeless body on the floor. And even though he's a dick, he's pretty sad about that. So he does a big emotional jump to a hospital in hopes that he's still alive. Then jumps over to the New York police station that the bully's at. I don't know how he knew that he was at this specific police station, but whatever. He finds him, gets into a cell, and tells him that he knows that he talked to Roland and wants to know what exactly he told him and if he told him about Millie. But as you can imagine, there's so many error messages popping into this guy's head. He's like, what the fuck is happening? Answer the question, goddammit. Did you tell him? Yes, of course. I told him everything. Why? Why would you do that? Why not? I'm trying to prove my innocence here, dude. David gets really angry and jumps back to Griffin's lair. That's in the middle of a desert somewhere. Finds Griffin just coming back from dumping the paladin he was interrogating in a shark pit somewhere in the Atlantic. David takes some of the maps and clues about Roland because he really wants to find him before he gets to Millie when her plane lands in 8 hours. But Griffin's like, get your grubby mitts off my shit, bitch. Tells him that this info won't help him anyway because it's super old. Going after Roland is really dangerous. It's very hard to track him down, so he should just let him take care of him. Then David suggested they should team up together to take down Roland. But Griffin refuses, stating that he works alone. Then he goes up to fuel his generators and says,
Joy Woo, brother. It's goodbye in Chinese.
no, it's not. It's actually this.
再见.
He could be saying a different
what did
version
he
of goodbye,
say?
like peace out or ciao, or maybe Google's just wrong. I don't know. Anyway, he jumps to Tokyo. David follows him and he keeps jumping to different places, but David keeps following him, being an annoying bitch trying to convince him to team up, saying, I know where to find Roland. If that is the case, then why were we trying to steal some of his maps to find Roland? Maybe he figured it out in the 2 minutes he was following Griffin, though. Doesn't matter. Griffin then steals a brand new Mercedes and jumps it out of the showroom it's in, showing David that you can jump pretty big things if you wanna. Then takes him for a joyride since he can't get rid of him. He goes racing around Japan, jumping the whole car to avoid traffic, bouncing around everywhere. David starts telling him about his parents and his rough childhood, and he's like, dude, who asked? Stop trauma dumping on me. Eventually, after a bunch of hooning around town for 8 hours apparently, Griffin parks in the middle of the street and agrees to David's final request to team up, with a couple continuity errors happening because David's seatbelt keeps going from him having it on to him having it off between shots. Also, when Griffin jumps over to the airport so they can check if Millie landed or not, and David follows him, for some reason his shirt goes from not ripped to a little bit ripped to mega ripped back to not ripped at all, but his jacket is. What's that all about? Anyway, they check the airport and see that her flight landed an hour ago, so Griffin goes back to his lair to armor up while David goes to look for her. First he checks at the bar and doesn't find her, but the people there tell him that his black friend with the white hair was just here. Dun dun dun. Roland is close by, so he jumps over to her apartment, breaks in and finds her. She's like, what the fuck? Wants him to leave, but he sees Roland rolling up, so he shows her that he's got teleportation superpowers and jumps her over to Griffin's lair right before Roland bursts in through the door. She's in massive shock and really angry with him. He goes to find Griffin and tells him that he brought the girl over. Griffin's like, are you nuts, bro? Why'd you do that? They have a machine that can follow us anywhere, retard. And we see Roland spraying some Axe deodorant to find David's jump scar. Before it fades away, him and his men activate a machine that turns this scar into a portal, opening a wormhole between these two locations. Griffin and David teleport inside and see the wormhole opening, so they hide right as Roland comes through it with one of his men. Now watch this clip, bearing in mind that they have to be very quiet so they don't fucking die. Now's not the time, jackass. Look, I know shit's weird with your mom and all. She showed up out of nowhere to save you from the Italian police after disappearing when you were 5. And now there's pictures of her on Griffin's wall. I get it. But still,
Your
shut the
life is
fuck
on
up,
the
dick
line.
cheese. This is life or death. Also, why did you jump somewhere else in the lair to hide and not somewhere else entirely? They only have one wormhole machine and it's in use. They can't keep following you. Anyway, his dumbass makes noise that reveals himself and gets himself electric zapped into the ceiling. He's trapped there with Roland approaching him.
Oh man, he's right. You could have just simply jumped somewhere else. How many of those could they have? And they would have been stranded there. And it takes them forever to get out of. See, this is what I'm talking about, man. See, this is why I'm glad I got my memories of this movie. And you know, stuff like this don't necessarily change it. It does point out some things, but it doesn't stop me from enjoying the movie. As opposed to if I watch something like this before I watch the movie. But man, that's glaring.
To kill him. So he's like, why you do this? I didn't hurt nobody. Sooner or later your kind always do. But what if I'm built different? Then Griffin shows up like, yoo-hoo, to save David with the Flammenwerfer. Ends up taking out the other paladin and somehow not taking out Roland himself, who's actually closer than the other guy to the flames. Fucking how, whatever, he gets away and Roland hooks his hand with the fucking zappy thingy. They fight, then Griffin gets really angry and gives him a big giga jumping power punch to punch Roland through a wall into the sand. He gets out there himself and hops on a quad bike, flips him off and jumps away over to London, comes back with a double-decker bus to throw it at Roland, but he fucking Dark Souls dodges that shit. Bro had no reason to get on a quad bike, by the way. That was a totally risky, time-wasting thing to do. But anyway, while they were fighting, Millie was outside trying to process all this shit. When Roland got punched through the wall, she enters to see David stuck in the corner of the ceiling. Roland comes back inside and Griffin chases him back into the wormhole, then follows him in through it to fight him in Millie's apartment, while she cuts down David with bolt cutters, just so he can get her out of here. So he's like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna take you away and leave you alone, but just so you know, it was always you, ever since you were kids. They have a small moment while Griffin is fighting for his fucking life. Then he pops back into his lair having—
Wait. I just now realized. What's the guy's name? He plays Anakin. Right? Oh, I forgot. Ooh, all right.
having stolen the wormhole machine, which closes the portal and traps them on the other side. But right before it closes, Roland shoots one of those grapple human harpoon things, which lands on Millie, pulls her through it, and the portal closes. So he's like, good.
Okay, first off, hold on. No, wait. All right, so he shot the thing inside the jump scar and just happened. That just happened. Right? He can't see into the portal, can he? They kind of just go in it. They don't know where they're going. So he just shot it. It could have went anywhere. But of course, I mean, yeah, here I go. See, this is what you've done to me, high boy. See what you've done.
One of those grapple human harpoon things, which lands on Millie, pulls her through it, and the portal closes. So he's like, good, now they have to come to us. Griffin then starts arming a bomb saying this.
Roland's in there with his whole army. We're gonna go back there and end this.
But then later on we hear him saying this.
There's 5 of them back there.
Bruh, his army's made out of 5 people? Tiny ass army. Anyway, David's like, you can't do that, Millie's in there. And a damn shame that is. I really wish it wasn't the case, but collateral damage, bro. So while he looks for the bomb's detonator, David takes the bomb and teleports away. Griffin follows him and finds him at the Roman Colosseum. They start fighting over the safe with the bomb in it, each trying to jump it away and get control of it. They jump it away to the top of the pyramids and have a fight over it. Transition to fighting over the detonator now. Teleporting all over the world, from Tokyo to Dubai. David throwing it off the Empire State Building, which is a stupid ass move because we can teleport, dipshit. So they continue fighting over it, free falling through the air. Then they jump into a public swimming pool, then to the Arctic. Then Griffin jumps a truck with a Hispanic dude into David, who teleports him to a war zone in Chechnya. Griffin gets out of the truck that immediately gets run over by a tank, and you think the Hispanic guy left inside would have died from that, but no, don't worry. He disappeared between shots. Fuck you on your continuity errors, movie. Griffin then finds a detonator and hobbles over to David to tease him like, I got the detonator, I win, you lose. Suck it, bitch. Which gives David enough time to grab him and jump him into a telephone, electricity pole, fucking poor man's Eiffel Tower, pylon, whatever thing, I forget what it's called. Getting lucky and trapping him in there, electrocuted so he can't jump. Griffin keeps telling him to get him down from there, not to go back alone because he can't take all of them on his own. I really don't understand how they're not getting shot in the crossfire while they're in the middle of this literal fucking active war zone, but whatever. David disregards his warnings and jumps back to Millie's street somehow with dry hair now. Then onto her balcony, sees her bound to her wall, and this guy with a brain that is a microbiome of rotting fecal matter does literally zero recon like the gun-ho jackass that he is, and jumps in immediately, which gets him trapped, obviously, and electrocuted by Roland and his people.
I mean, yeah, he pretty much did zero recon, but he did look, he looked in the window, right? So, I'll give him props for at least trying.
Gun-ho jackass that he is, and jumps in immediately, which gets him trapped, obviously, and electrocuted by Roland and his people. But he's so angry, or like wants to save her so bad, that he keeps trying to jump, in the process shaking the whole place and tearing it apart while Roland is trying to kill him. Remember how I said being more emotional makes the jump more violent or more effective? I guess it's helping in this scenario because bro got that dog in him. He digs deep and jumps the whole fucking apartment with everything in it into the body of water he almost drowned in as a teenager. Then he jumps it all again to the library he escaped to. He passes out, Millie slaps him awake like, get up, bitch! So he jumps her to safety, then jumps back to Roland, takes him and jumps him over to a cave somewhere, saying, "Told you I'm different. I could have dropped you with the sharks. You probably should have, you great big hunk of stupid."
He's gonna
Because when
come
he jumps
after you.
away to leave him there on his own, we zoom out to a wide shot that looks like he's in the Grand Canyon, which I think you can survive being deserted there. Actually, looking at how high that cave is, he's probably gonna have some trouble climbing down, might fall and break his neck or some shit. But still, he should have killed him and made sure he was dead. Anyway, we cut to sometime later with David having tracked down where his mom lives. She lives in Elsa's castle. Turns out he has a half sister that's dating a gay vampire. She's really surprised to see him. They have a small conversation.
Oh. Mm. And you know what? Jumper is still a better love story.
Lives in Elsa's castle. Turns out he has a half sister that's dating a gay vampire. She's really surprised to see him. They have a small conversation and it turns out she's a paladin. She left him when he was 5 because the actual first jump he ever did was when he was 5 and she saw that, which left her with 2 choices, either kill him or leave him. So she chose to leave him, and I guess she's also been low-key keeping him safe from the rest of the paladins, covering his sloppy ass tracks ever since because she loves him. But now she has to chase him, so she hugs him and gives him a head start. He leaves and goes to Millie, who's still with him, because who would pass up on having a boyfriend that could teleport? This movie gets 5 ping pong rackets out of 7 pickled onions.
Okay, not bad. Okay, not a bad record. I mean, not a bad score. Okay, you guys let me know what y'all thought about this movie down in the comments. And I really did enjoy it. I might actually go watch it again. We got a Kung Fu Panda one. Y'all let me know if you want me to react to that one. All right. End of this video. Dave's out.